goat. Here come the goat. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the GOAT Show. Here come the goat. Here come the GOAT. With your host, Tyson Guion. Here come the GOAT. 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 Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the GOAT Show.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the GOAT Show. I am your host, Tyson Guion, and today our topic is the Bible anti-African? Whew, that's deep. Is the Bible anti-African? But the GOAT Show deals with the greatest of all times. And what we dealt with last week was the greatest lie of all times, religion. Religion is the greatest lie of all time. Let's check out some of the runners-up, like the moon landing. Santa Claus, every Christmas Day at the birth of Christ. And of course, Donald Trump's proclamation of the election being stolen. The day we're focusing in on the greatest lie of all time, religion. Is the Bible anti-African? And joining me in the studio is my special guest and co-host, King Leon. Introduce yourself, King Leon.
King Leon, Now Valley.
King Leon, Now Valley, and we have a studio guest today, ladies and gentlemen, in the house. My main man from Ghana.
Ooh.
He is from Ghana. My main man, Nebras Habib. And Habib, what does Habib mean, Nebras?
Habib mean it's an Arabic name. In Arabic, it means love.
Love. Nebras Love is here today, ladies and gentlemen. And he's a studio guest, so you'll hear him chiming in and giving his input and his intellect. And one of the deepest conversations you're going to hear this week is the Bible anti-African. Here is my co-host and my special guest, King Leon.
All right. So I'm going to go here first. So let's go back in time a little bit to when the Bible was first written, who wrote it, the powers that be at the time. At the time, Europeans was in power. And whoever is in power, they control the religion. They control law. They control everything. The Europeans were in control. So they the ones who was able to, create these doctrines, stolen doctrines, because me personally, I believe the Bible are sun scrolls written by people of the sun, African people, the first people, the first civilizations come out of Africa. So basically, you have to think, look at your family, for example. You have your grandma, your grandparents, your parents, then the kids. Christian religion says the kids are smarter than the grandparents, which is, we all know, that's not possible. What they're doing is they're taking away a whole history of people with this book, with this religion. Every religion connected to Christianity is false and it's not for us. And the reason why it's not for us is because it's anti-African. And I'm gonna start with Noah. Let's think of the Noah story. If you don't know the story, then this ain't probably for you, but you have to know the story of Noah. Noah and his 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Now let's narrow it down. Ham is the son who was cursed. How was he cursed? Because he saw Noah naked. Don't mean he seen him naked, no clothes on, meaning if someone seen you naked, that means they seen what you do in the dark or when nobody else know that you do something bad. So Ham saw his dad naked and he was cursed, but not him per se. He cursed his son, his grandson, Canaan. Okay, who is Canaan? Canaan is a land in Africa, okay? Ham is the dark son, so happened to be the dark son who represented the black. He represents everyone of color, okay? Shem and Japheth, we know these two. Japheth represent the white, Shem represent, the Arab. Okay, so Ham and his sons, Canaan, Cush, Egypt, these are all sons of Ham. But if you do the math, his sons were already here before him, which makes no sense because these are Ham is a son of Noah. But the Bible starts out where? In Ethiopia. So that makes no sense. And at an early age, all of us black people, especially Southern blacks, we've always been taught, don't you question God. That's a mechanism that they use so you don't ask questions about the Bible. But it also says, the Bible also says, be learneth. That means be smart. Be calculative about what you read and what you understand and what you know. God said be knoweth, you know. So there's no laws in the asking, if something don't fit right, something's obviously not right. So if Egypt, Punt, Canaan, and all these are sons of Ham, how were they here before Ham? You get what I'm saying? Because Ham is the son of Noah. All right, so we know about this great flood. When the flood came and went, when the water subsided, where did the boat land? The boat landed at a place called Mount Ararat. If we pull out a map and look up Mount Ararat, it's in the Caucasus Mountains. What black man gonna say he comes from the Caucasus Mountains? That's not possible. That's not possible. That's how you know a European wrote that, because what they did with the flood was wash away all African history.
So, King Leon, so are basically Caucasus, is that dealing with Caucasian?
Absolutely. Mount Ararat sits in dead smack in the middle of the Caucasus Mountains. That's where they're saying after the flood, the new world starts here. That's what they're trying to tell everybody with this whole religion thing. The Caucasus Mountains, this is where man is now starting. But at the same time, when the water subsided, when they got off the boat, they traveled south of Africa to the land of Shinar, which is the southern tip of Mesopotamia. So wait a minute. The boat lands in Mount Ararat, so why would y'all travel back to Africa? Why would you go back there and start over when you were already there? That's another one right there where people don't, that's another trick that they use. Almost is as if no one would never question them. We can go back even further to when Moses ran up out of Egypt. You know, when he took the Israelites and the water parted and all this, he parted the Red Sea, and Ramesses was on his tail and all this kind of stuff. And Ramesses and his army was caught in the water and drowned, right? But in Egypt, there's a city called Abydos, Egypt, where they have a wall of 76 kings. 76 kings are on this wall. From the first king Seti, from the last king was Seti. And the first king, I can't remember the first king name, but at the time of the flood was around 2300 BC, before Christ. 2300 BC is when this flood supposedly took place. Well, at the wall of Abydos in Egypt, at 2300 BC, Ramesses III was in charge then, okay? But the wall kept going. So basically, time never stopped in Africa. Even though they say it was this flood that washed away the world, then why didn't the time stop in Africa? Time was still moving. So you mean to tell me Africa didn't get washed away? They said the flood washed away everything. Everything. And if so, then this wall in Abydos, Egypt should have been washed away as well. But again, the wall in Abydos, Egypt has 76 kings on it. And there's no break in the time at all. From the last king Seti, there's no break there. So that washes away this whole story of a flood in the first place. If that wall is still there, that wall started probably almost 3,000 years before a Bible or Christianity even came about. It's when their first kings, the first kings of Egypt came apart, were first brought up, when we first learned about these people. And to the last king, Seti III, which is almost in the 17th century. So the time never stopped in Africa, but yet your Bible says there was a great flood to wash everything away. If that don't tell you with your common sense to tell you something is wrong with that, we got a big problem. And the fact that you tried to wash away all of Africa Basically, what you're doing is you're trying to erase African history. You're trying to erase where you got your knowledge to create your Bible, because your Bible come from sun scrolls. They come from Egypt. They took pieces of different religions and created this Bible. And then the whole time they're blasting black people. The whole time, and it's right in front of people's face and they don't even see it. So, perfect example, if you go in the Old Testament, Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 12, it says, "The Ethiopian shall be slain by my sword." Why are they specifically picking out Ethiopians? You want to know why? Because Ethiopia was the only place that was never colonized by Europeans. What do I mean by colonized? Every place in Africa was colonized by Europeans. That's how, slavery was started. They was coming in, but they could not defeat the Ethiopians. So the people who wrote this Bible, they knew that. They knew that. So, of course, you will be mad at the people you can't beat, so you talk shit about them because you can't beat them. The Ethiopians were unbeatable. They stopped many European armies from coming in and taking their people out. And they gave the blueprints to other African tribes how to fight Europeans. So there was a time Africa was stronger than any other race, country in the world. And they were mad at that. That's why they wrote that and put it in the same Bible that you pray to every day. That's a problem. That's a problem.
So King Leon,
go ahead.
Do you believe that Christianity stole writings from the Egyptians and the Ethiopians?
Absolutely. Going back to Abydos, Egypt, the Portuguese were the first ones to enter Africa and colonize and put chains around people's necks. The Portuguese were the first ones. St. Nicholas V was the Pope who okayed slavery. And he said, why is it okay to enslave people? Because the Bible said they were heathens. A Bible that was written by white men gave homage and gave them permission to go into Africa and put chains around these people's necks. They're committing crimes, because the Bible says you shouldn't put no man in chains. And if you do, you should be put to death. But Alfonso V and St. Nicholas V put their heads together in 1452 and said, since these people are heathens, the Canaanites and all these people, y'all can go in there and get them. They don't believe in God no way, so you're allowed to go in and put chains on their neck.
But like King Leon, in defense of the scriptures, one thing I'm going to say is that what the Bible says, though, is that the Bible specifically gives a command and instructions to slave masters and slaves. It tells the slave master and the slave, do not worry about the slave master if he disrespects you or he is violent towards you. Maybe the slave master didn't get the message.
That don't make okay. Listen to what you just said. What you're doing is what they're doing. They wrote that in there to make it okay to put somebody in a chain, man. Because what you said is no better than toilet paper, man. You should be able to wipe your ass with that, because that's wrong. What they're doing is trying to justify putting a chain around a man's neck.
It's conditioning.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
It's brainwashing.
That's exactly what it is.
Christian nation, American, it's brainwashing.
Not just Christian.
You don't take a beating from no man.
No man.
No man is allowed to put his hands on you, beat you with a whip, hang you, separate you from your family, cut off your head and put you on a noose and hang you. No man, through no religion, should be able to do that. And black people still today have not got reparation.
Let's go back.
I'm going to get off of that.
Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 12 in the Old Testament says, "Ye Ethiopian shall be slain by my sword. And O Cushite shall be slain by my sword." Who were the Cushites? These were tribes of Africa. It was me. It was people who looked exactly like me. So why would you put a verse like that in the Bible? What it's saying, they were pissed off that they couldn't beat them until Alfonso V of Portugal, him and Nicholas V, the Pope, who was ordained the Pope, the most holiest man in the world, said, y'all can go in here. If you can beat them, you can go in here and you can take them. And Alfonso was the first ones to break the wall down in Africa and go in and put the first set of chains on people.
In America, I am really supposed to be sitting here defending Christianity right now, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I can't. I mean, from what he's just saying right now, and from what the Bible teaches, and from the government's giving black people a lack of reparation, I can't defend the Bible right now, and I just can't do it because it's just that it seems that the Bible is just written off of other writings, and King Leon's gonna break it down fully.
Let's go back to Noah when he cursed Ham's son Canaan, which is, we know Canaan is a country, a city. It's what we call Israel today. It's where Canaan was then. You know, it's so coincidental that the Jews are there now, and they saying this is their land. This land was once called Canaan. Let's be real. Canaan was cursed by Noah. Written supposedly, this whole character of Noah, because that's what he is to me, as a character that was written up by somebody. So he says in Chronicles chapter 4, verse 41, Hezekiah was told to go in and slew them utterly by God. God told Hezekiah to go into Canaan and slew them utterly. What does utterly mean? It means everybody, man, women, child, it does not matter. He said, go in and kill them all, burn their tents, their land, and take their cattle and take their women for themselves if they had never been with a man. So basically, the Bible is giving them permission to go in and rape, murder, and kill. That's what that means, and it's in there. Go look it up for yourself. Don't trust my word.
King Leon.
Trust Chronicles chapter 4, verse 41, and it tells you. Hezekiah went in and slew them utterly. Now listen, the people that were there, it says in that same place that these people were peaceable and quiet and had been there of old, being that they were descendants of Ham. Ham meaning black. That means they were peaceable. What does peaceable mean? Peaceful. So they'll let anybody in. That's just their nature as Africans, as people of love. They let them in. They said, come on in. And when they came in, they killed them. That's what they did. And you want to follow that?
Can I ask our studio guest a question, since he's from Africa?
Go ahead.
Christianity, according to King Leon, has brainwashed Africans and African Americans and has permeated the land.
It's the reason why we're the way we are.
In Africa and Ghana, is Christianity popular?
Yes. Actually, Ghana is a Christianity country.
Can you speak up just a little bit for me?
Right. Actually, Ghana is a Christianity country.
Oh, it's practiced Christianity. Ghana
Right.
does. Mm-hmm. Fully Christianity then.
We have
Not fully.
We have not fully. We have a percentage of Islam over there, but it's not as big as Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. That's good.
Let's get back to it.
I'll get back to it. Then.
So let's go back to Canaan. These people who, in the Bible, it said they were peaceable and quiet. They weren't even warlike. They wasn't even warlike people. They were not warriors. They were peaceable. And if you look at the word peaceable in the Hebrew, it means peaceful. So why would you slaughter peaceful people that's committed no crime? Somebody need to be brought up on charges for this, because this is something that happened that gave them credence to start slavery. That's why we had slavery in 1452. That is the reason, because they got it from this Bible. Because they say, oh, well, God didn't like these people, so it's okay to put them in chains. First off, the first ship that left Africa with the first set of slaves on that ship was called the Good Jesus. The Good Jesus. There was over 300 slaves on it. By the time it made it to the Americas meaning South America, Jamaica, all them islands. When it first made it, there was maybe less than 100. So where did the others go? You know what they did? They either was murdered en route here to the Americas, or they jumped off the boats. They jumped off the ship. They said, we'd rather die than be in bondage. Bondage. And that's what they do. That's what they've used this book to keep us in bondage. Keep us in bondage. Turn the other cheek if somebody slaps you. That's strictly for the slave and the slave master. That was not for us. Honor your earthly father. These are words and sentences that's in the Bible. It says, honor your earthly father. Who is your earthly father? I don't know who that is, because I'm not a slave. But it was written for the slave. You get what I'm saying? That's how the book is anti-African. Take it a step further. The story of David and Goliath. Goliath was from the Philistine. He was Philistine. The Philistine was a black city. that was in control by nothing but blacks. There was no European faces anywhere because they couldn't take the sunlight anyway. That's why they were in the Caucasus Mountains. It was too damn hot for them in Africa. They couldn't stand that heat there. The Philistine was one of the hottest parts of Africa. But they had David, this little white boy, takes out this giant, Goliath, who was a big black man. That's another story that they concocted. That's how you know the Bible was anti-African. That's another one. Look at the story of David and Goliath. David slews Goliath with a rock. Who was Goliath? Why was he such a threat? From the information that I've found and the digging that I've done, Goliath was the champion of Philistine, meaning he was probably the heavyweight champion in boxing or something. He was a big black man, you know, a big black African. And who was David? This little white boy called an Israelite was able to defeat the big black man from Philistine. You get what I'm saying? These are stories that they put in the Bible. That's why I say that the Bible is anti-African, not just me. It's right there in your face. It's hidden in plain sight. It's very clever how they do it, though, because they talk about how great Ethiopia was and how great Africa was, then they washed it away. Because you can't fit all of African history in the Bible. You can't do it. It's impossible. I mean, let me tell you like this, man. That Bible, it's like a big nigga trying to squeeze in a little person's clothes. You can't describe African history in that book. It's too small. You got to think, you got to account for all the time prior to the Bible written, all them thousands of years. Who did they pray to? You know, what was their traditions, all those kind of things. They washed them away purposely and said that this white man named Jesus is the Messiah.
He's the Messiah.
Stop it.
He's the Messiah.
Get out of here.
He's the Messiah.
Get out of here, man.
He's the Messiah. And I just want to illustrate real fast, Christian nation in America, how the church is dying, but the church is trying to resurrect itself. And it's become a practice, and the church is so brainwashed into the Bible and Christianity, and I'm supposed to be defending the Bible right here. But honestly, I have no defense for the Bible. Right now, King Leon, I want to show this clip real fast.
Let's do it.
The church trying to resurrect the church so you can keep people brainwashed, but only like King Leon said, now it's our people. It's our people doing it. So let's watch this clip real fast.
Today, this man died since Friday. Hey. Elliot.
Makes me sick, man.
What is this? Never seen before. Never seen. Church of God.
Church of God.
He was dead. He's now alive. Jesus.
This which was dead is now alive. King Leon, is it dead?
Man, that's some cartoon type garbage that they pollute my people. They pollute black people with that kind of stuff, man. We know good and well that ain't nobody never came back from the dead. We know that as black people with common
We
sense.
seen him come out of the casket and walk down the street. And he had been dead since Friday. I don't know what day it was in the video, but America, Christian nation, that's going way too far.
Listen, man, and then I'm going to be done.
That's way too far.
I'm going to be done with it. I mean, everything that I've said since I've been on this show, it's not my sayings. This is not something that I've done. This is something that I've researched. Not just me. It's a lot of us out here that's in the Nile Valley that practices Ma'at, 42 laws. You know, it's becoming a joke. And they went too far because the Bible, in my opinion, was created to divide and conquer. It was created to divide people of color from each other. And they've been successful with it because if all people of color was to ever unite as one, they would take over. not just this place, but the entire world. They would take over. And that's what they fear. They've always feared the rising of black men in this country.
And we have a church on every
and
corner.
abroad, you know. And then you got to think of these black neighborhoods that fall apart.
Church
What's
on every
left?
corner.
The church survives. Why don't the church go under?
Baptist.
You know what I mean? But the church
Apostolic.
survives. They do. The church survives.
Pentecostal.
They don't give. They
Catholic,
give when they
Protestant.
do give. It's kibbles and
Church
bits.
of God,
It's
culture.
a few pennies here and
Seventh-day
there. but
Adventist.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man.
The bifurcation does not stop. It's apostolic. I mean, I can go on for days and days naming Then we got non-denomination.
I mean, not to be a dead horse, but even the scriptures that they use in the Bible, you know, those are sun scrolls from Mesopotamia, which is South Africa. You know what I mean? This is where they get their religion from. They took pieces from here, pieces from there, and they created this whole doctrine of Jesus Christ when there's 30 different religions that have that same story of the virgin birth of the Messiah and the three kings. You know, this is just one story of that same concept. You know, this concept is everywhere in religion.
And that's what we bring into our next
Muslims, you know, this whole, it's the same thing, man. And they're corrupting the Bible with this stuff. They're corrupting black people with this stuff. Now, I'm going to end with this. There's 3 verses I would like people to check out. Chronicles chapter 4, verse 41. That's to let people know about how they did Canaan. You know, the people went into Canaan. Hezekiah went in and slain them, cut them up, and then was able to take the women. God said you can have their women. What kind of God will tell a man you can kill the husband and take the wife? But that's what God said. It's in their Bible. I didn't write it.
And Isaiah,
I didn't write it. Hold on. Isaiah chapter 20, verse 4 says, the Cushites and the Egyptians shall be slain by my sword. Not my sayings. It's in the Bible. What kind of God says kill somebody with a sword? Shall be slain. You know what kind? The ones that can't beat somebody. Because you couldn't beat the Cushites at that time or the Ethiopians.
God said he created good and evil.
Yes, he did. You know, so if you created evil, then you set us up from the beginning then. If you created evil, because my people have been catching hell since the beginning. So why would I follow that?
But in John
Why would anybody
3:16,
want
it
to
also
follow that?
says, for God so loved the world.
Man, get out of here with
That
that,
he gave
man.
his only begotten son.
Yeah, all right. Zephaniah
whoever
chapter
believes in
2,
him
verse 12.
shall have
them up.
everlasting
Them
life.
3 right there, you can destroy the whole Bible with them 3 verses right there. The Bible contradicts itself. It talks in circles.
Can you repeat
got
the
an
verses
old
for
and a
one more
new.
time? Can Leon repeat the
Repeat them
verses
verses.
one more time? For
Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 12. Isaiah chapter 20, verse 4. And then one of my favorites, Chronicles chapter 4, verse 41. Why is it one of my favorites? Because there was a time God said he wouldn't obliterate the world the way he did with the flood anymore, but yet you let, Zephaniah go into, Hezekiah go into a city and just destroy everybody, even when they wasn't, it did document that they said anything bad. They didn't do anything.
I mean,
anymore,
but that's
they
a
were slain.
motif in the Bible. A motif. They do it over and over again.
But the
they
key
go into
is,
cities and they destroy cities and they conquer cities.
the key is the Israelite land that they call Israel today was given to them by God through this story. Through this story that was written in the Bible, written by Europeans, saying this. God said, this is your land, but the people there don't know it's yours. So you got to go in and kill them. So go in, kill them, and then claim the land as your own. That's what the Bible says.
That God be true and every man a liar.
Yeah, so basically what it's saying is
every man is going to be a liar.
These people who claim to be Jews are really not who they say they are. They're really not who they say they are. If you want to go off of this Bible and claim something that was given to you through bloodshed and rape and murder, you go right ahead. But that's my evidence that this Bible is anti-African, because this was an African place that they ran into, raped and pillaged the men, women, and children. I mean, we can go further than that if you want to. There's Passover, where they celebrate the death of African children. The Israelites were told to put the blood over the door so the angel of death won't come in and kill your children. But, angel of death came in and killed all the firstborn. Those are black children. They're bragging about the angel of death coming in, killing black kids.
But the point is,
they call it a holiday.
The point
Passover.
Of that, the point of that
Come on,
passage
man.
is, though,
Come on, man.
If you would have covered your doorposts with the blood, you wouldn't have died.
That's creepy too. That's creepy.
So that was the point. You had to cover yourself in the blood.
Put blood on your door.
That blood today
to
is the
stop
blood
the
of Christ,
angel of death from coming in the door.
according to Christianity.
No. That's the blood of the Lamb. Put the blood of the Lamb on your door, and the angel of death will not come into your home. Think about what I just said. The angel of death will not come into your home if you have blood on your door. Not to mention, they have this thing, you can probably help me out with this, when you do the wine and this is my body.
Communion.
Communion. It's cannibalism.
Eat.
Cannibalism. Eat a part of my body. Eat my body,
But it's
and drink my
represented
blood.
it's representing the bread,
And drink
because
my
he was the
blood.
bread that came down from heaven.
And the wine represented my blood.
It's
Did
his
it not?
blood. It
Drink
represents
my blood.
blood.
That's some cannibal shit, man.
So
let's be honest.
So King Leon, is Jesus real?
Absolutely not.
So we're about to break into our second segment, and we're about to end this segment, is the Bible anti-African? And we're about to go into the birth of Jesus Christ. Before we go into that, let's look at this real short video real fast.
I didn't know you was going there. Okay, let's go there.
Oh, that's where you said we was going to go, though.
Let's go. Oh, man.
Believe that Jesus Christ was resurrected.
Because the historical evidence is that
Okay,
he really
you
died and he really
give me
rose
some
from the
medical
dead.
records and I'll believe it, okay? You show me Jesus Christ's medical chart, I'll buy into it. I'll be a Christian today.
Man, they didn't keep medical records in the first century.
Oh, that's so convenient, isn't that? That's wonderful.
No, rather, it's real convenient for you to say, knowing full well they didn't keep medical records in the first century, it's so convenient for you to say, all right, if you give me the medical records, then I'll believe. Talk about convenient. Give me a break. Come on, man, let's be honest. How convenient of you to say, unless we have it on Polaroid film, I can't believe it, knowing full well they didn't have Polaroid film in the first century. How convenient of you to say,
Justifying.
well, show me the medical records
They slick, man.
from NYU
They
Hospital,
slick now.
and then I'll believe Jesus rose from the dead, knowing full well NYU Hospital did not exist in the first century.
They
Come
slick
on,
with
man.
it.
Homer,
Look at 'em,
Herodotus,
European ass.
Sophocles, Plato, Aristotle. Show me the medical records for them, will you? Historical knowledge is not based on medical records, man. It's based on the trustworthiness of eyewitness testimony. And the eyewitnesses is that Herodotus and Aristotle and Cicero and Virgil really lived. They're not just figments of people's fertile imagination. And the historical evidence is that Jesus really lived, really died, and really rose from the dead. And eyewitnesses saw him.
I'm not fin to bend to any religion given to people in chains. Simple as that. This religion was given to people not by choice.
Ladies
It
and
was
gentlemen,
forced on you
we
by the people who
appreciate
captured
everybody joining us this evening for the GOAT Show, and we will return to you in our next episode. Does Jesus really exist? Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next show.